You're locked into Hits 92.3. The views, stories, and opinions shared on this program belong solely to the hosts and their guests. They do not represent the views of Hits 92.3 Radio, management, staff, partners, advertisers, parent companies, or affiliates. And if you don't know what any of that means, listener discretion is advised. Now sit back, turn up your volumes, and enjoy the content from one of the greatest, dopest radio personalities to ever touch this microphone in 3, 2, 1.
Let me make this one thing very clear. On my way to the top, no ignoring, I'm here, yeah. I've been a gentleman, such a gentleman. I've been a gentleman, such a gentleman. Let go. I've been a gentleman, such a gentleman. A gentleman, gentleman. Let's go. I've been a gentleman, such a gentleman. I've been a gentleman, such a gentleman. Let go. I've been a gentleman, such a gentleman. A gentleman, gentleman. Let's go. S to the C to the double OTA. You say my name, the people run like a relay.
People out there, I'm your boy Just Semaj, and we got a new show. And with this new show come new co-hosts. So we're gonna get started with our show. We want y'all to vibe with us. This show gonna be a little different than what y'all used to seeing me do. Y'all know y'all used to see me doing Just Semaj, the music radio show, to where it's music, comedy. This one's more so for the fellas. You know, this is for the niggas, strictly for the niggas, okay? Nah, all jokes aside, but this is really for us. This is where we can come and, kind of unwind, unravel, and, speak our truth. Because, a lot of times when we say stuff, we consider it too spicy. And you're going to get two perspectives. You're going to get it from a straight side and the gay side. So either way, you're going to be either straight gay or you just going to get it. Either way, we're going to be fine. But good evening. Always been a real nigga full set. Good evening, good people, and welcome to a Gentleman's Podcast. I am your host, Just Semaj.
And I'm your host, EmanuelTheBrand. We appreciate all y'all for tuning in and spending this evening with us.
You already know what time it is. This is a place where real conversation happen with class, confidence, and a little grown man flavor.
The homies.
I'm telling you.
This one for the homies.
That's how you feel?
Absolutely. Every week we talking life, relationships, culture, business, healing, success, and everything in between from the gentleman's perspective.
So whether you're riding through the city, relaxing at home, or pouring yourself something after a long day, we had to have something smooth too, because it's been a long day. It took us an hour to get here, but we ain't gonna talk too much about that.
Yeah, it was a little dry, but just sit back, lock in, and vibe with us for the next hour. We here.
Hey, you got two gentlemen in the building.
It's definitely, the energy's real smooth too.
So we're gonna do y'all a favor. We're gonna kick off the topic. What's the topic today, man?
Cost of being a strong one, Semaj. We talk about it all the time in our private life, but now that we here with the good folks, we can really get into it and spill our feels and all that. Something we don't get to do too often.
I think that's pretty dope though, because I don't think people realize that, man, we tired too. We tired. They don't give a damn, man. The silent pressures of being a man, and people don't really like talking about it. So I felt like, why not create that open dialogue for this?
No, I feel that. The pressure, to always be strong. I kind of feel like it's like we taught to hide our emotions, and I feel like it's like coming to the forefront more. Like I'm seeing it in my little matrix algorithm, and I'm seeing it online, and I'm seeing it in more conversations where we got like platforms to kind of engage. But I definitely want to be like a pillar and like a pilot for that. Like what we doing, I think is a real conversation that need to be had amongst communities, amongst our peers, and amongst ourselves to really push the narrative forward that, what we go through matters, it's important, but also, have some fun with it, and bring some light to it, for sure.
Man, I couldn't agree more. I honestly think like it's needed, everybody talk. I think I was listening to this podcast the other day, and they were saying like pretty much like a fool will speak all the time, but a wise man know when to speak. And I feel like right now it's the time to speak about this kind of stuff, because it's time for us to help. We got another generation get ready to come, so it's like technically we're supposed to be the next one. So why not be the ones to start these uncomfortable conversations? So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump into our first question. Then after we hit our first question, we're gonna actually jump into a commercial break. But we're gonna hit our first question. Why are men expected to carry everything silently? And I'm gonna let that sit for a minute because I'm gonna ask it again. Why are men expected to carry everything and sit there silently? And what I mean by that is, again, like I said in the beginning of the intro, when us as men say like, oh, well, how we feel in a situation, it's always considered either sassy or like, oh, you gay. And it's like, damn, like I can't have my feelings. Like I'm tired of coming home to a nasty house. Like how many times I got to say that without being sassy, or like what other way can you say that? So I guess my point is like, like pretty much we are in a space to where, we're not sassy. We're just speaking up. It's time for the men to start saying how they feel. And if you're a man, you can jump in the comments, tell us how you feel too.
Yeah, get in the comments so they know it's not just us up here, yo. But I feel the same way. Like, even like to your point, to piggyback off that, a clean house is more than like barking an order or making a demand. It's really about that's making my day easier so I can make your life easier. If I got more time spread out to get some paper, to get to some extracurricular activities that's bringing some notoriety to what we got going on, or like popularity to social media accounts, or just having more peace of mind being at work. I feel like all of that's like beneficial to the household. Because if I'm in a good mental space, I feel like I could contribute more and cater more to like the feelings of the house, the emotions of the house, and I could be more present. But if I'm constantly distracted by things around me and I can't really get to the things that's important, and I think it's a good way to have a balance. But I do think it's like sometimes we got to take ownership of like what's more of a priority for us, so we can have those extra outlets to do more for each other. For sure, I feel the same.
I mean, I agree with that. And I also think, to your point, it's just like, like make it easier for me so that I can make it easier for you.
That's a big
I
one.
don't think a lot of people think about that, just from I grew up watching heterosexual relationships. Like I didn't know what it was to be gay. I'm still figuring that shit out as we go, but that's neither here nor there. But I saw, more of the man making it easier, but the woman come home and she nagging like straight, just like, like nobody
Yeah, it
want
could
to
be
hear all
like
that.
that. It could be
And
like
then
that.
when he say something, it's like, oh well, it's real sassy, and it's like, nah, it just makes sense. Um,
Mhm.
Another point I wanted to talk about was,
And I ain't gonna front. Like sometimes, like even me not being able to get those emotions out and not being able to like effectively communicate from those distractions, I might bring problems from work home. I might bring something that wasn't existing in the house, and now she got to deal with that energy from something that completely unrelated to what she got going on. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'll be the first to say that, have accountability and say that a lot of it falls on the guy too. If we don't take ownership and take that kind of leadership perspective to kind of say like, all right, well, I did this wrong, or I could have went about this a different way, then it's kind of hard to expect you to do that if you're looking at me to kind of like, fill that void of like leadership or something like that in those times of need. So I see it both ways too, for sure.
I
For
mean, but
sure.
when it comes to leadership, it definitely has to start with the man first.
Hmm.
No matter what side of life you on, it has to start with the man first
Most
because
definitely. Most definitely.
also it's a two sided sword. You can't come in barking orders or demands, and then you're not making her feel comfortable as a woman to even be soft and want to clean up.
Right.
Because I think sometimes that's another thing too. Like like a lot of men want women to be a certain kind of way, but it's like, why should she? Like, are
Yeah.
you making it easy for her too? Like,
Right.
like are you just because you're the breadwinner don't always make you right, or just because you're the man it doesn't always make the scenario or the
True.
situation right. And I think we got to think about that too. I
Yeah.
also want to talk about the man up culture. That's what I call it. And
Yeah.
basically what that is like when we going through, like that's the first thing we hear is, hey, man up, you got this. Like, what did that mean? Like, why y'all always telling us to like man up? Like we be going through, like we be toe down on the inside. A lot of us might not show it, and a lot of us might not
Mhm.
know how to show it, or we may show it in the wrong ways. But in fairness, like we all be just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, like man up, like what does it even really mean, right? Because at the end of the day, we are somebody's son. And it's like if you have a son one day or aspire to have children one day or got nieces, nephews, little cousins that are little boys, whatever, it's like that message that you sending to me or that you sending to us is the same message that you sending to the little ones that's coming up, that's watching it, the same ones that's coming after it. You know what I mean? So if they see me gotta be tough all the time, you can't expect them to be soft or to feel like being coddled is okay. Because they always gonna feel like they got something to prove. Because I know I started one way from a young age and then life kind of kicked my rear, kicked me in the butt. And then I kind of went another way, you know what I mean? So you know, it happens to the best of us, but I feel like manning up is important in becoming a man. But I feel like the demand to constantly always have to kind of wear that mask or wear that armor is kind of just like overstated and overwhelming, even for somebody that could be considered strong to most people, you know. So I could feel that too. I definitely connect with that, Samaj.
And then I feel like with the whole man up thing, I feel like I said, I look at both sides of it, right? There are times when we do need to man up though.
Mhm.
Like when it comes to how we handle certain situations. Like a lot of us, and I I can't agree with it. I mean, I can't say I'm a part of this us, but I'm just gonna, take it, for the fellas. A lot of us are, raised in a single household, to where we're raised by our moms.
Sure.
So our mom treat us like these quote unquote kings, or this is
Mhm.
my baby boy or whatever, and they end up enabling us. So in those moments, we need to be told like, "Hey, dog, it's time to man up." Not when I'm expressing my feelings, like especially if I'm expressing my feelings in a way that is one respectable, two easy to understand, but because you don't want to hear it, it's just like, "Oh yeah, you being sassy, bro."
Right. Right. Yeah, it's important. We gotta open up the narratives for sure. I completely agree. I completely agree. Raised by a single mother myself, so I definitely understand that too. For sure. Shout out Mom Dukes. I love you, Mom.
Man, shout out to all the moms,
For sure, for sure.
good ones
Shout
and
out
bad
all
ones,
the
because y'all
mothers.
teach y'all kids something one way or another.
Man, the way they coming up now, I'm a little scared, but it's a lot of good in it too. But I definitely see like I want to say a skewed balance between more of the negative a lot, you know. So I'm trying to like, focus more on the positive these days because it could get out of hand if we don't got people like us up here sticking up and promoting that narrative of like positive male leadership and reinforcement. So I'm definitely feeling that too, for sure.
I just really think it starts with, people like us, who don't mind saying like, "Hey man, look, I know how y'all feel, and I know y'all are entitled to how y'all feel, and that's okay." But in reality, it's just time to grow.
Nah, for real.
And that's where
For
I'm
real.
at in life, like in general, just like, like I just turned 32. Like, shout out to me. Go to hell, sunshine. Damn, I just recently turned 32. Jesus, man, my knees knocking and stuff. I can't jump out the bed like I used to. I got to sit up on the bed. You got to start your knees up every once in a while. You got to sit there like, you know what, baby, it's okay. We're going to get there. I'm telling you, we're going to be all right. But no, like I just turned 32 and like growth has really been like my main focus. Like I've been thinking like, man, like I don't want to be the same Samaj from 2025. Don't get me wrong, he was great. Samaj got a lot of stuff done in 2025. However, that was 2025. Like I'm like, okay, well, what we doing next? Like, what's up? Like, and sometimes you gotta have that uncomfortable conversation with yourself and check in because they be like, man, like, I know I want to go to the next level, but what am I doing to get me to the next level? Or what am I not doing that's getting me to the next level? And what am I willing to change to get me to the next level? Even the stuff that don't feel good. Like for me, like I'm gonna just be honest and keep it a buck because I feel like this that kind of show. Like for me, like I get very comfortable easy. Like I get caught in patterns very easy. Like patterns is my shit. Like you can't when it come to keeping a pattern, you can't F with me on keeping a pattern because that's just who I am. Like I'm the best pattern keeper you can ever keep. And like for the longest time, I was like, dog, like I got comfortable and it was like, man, okay, I know I can be. And then you had that feeling in the back of your mind, like, bro, like I know I can be doing so much more. But it's like it just feel good just right here all nestled up. And I was like, but dang, like I probably done knocked myself back in my career like 15 years, not even realize it.
Yeah, it can feel like that for sure.
Yeah, like what
It
I
can
was
feel
supposed to
like
get
that.
to this year, I done missed it because I done got comfortable. So
Yeah,
now I'm all about, okay, I don't want to be comfortable no more.
yeah.
Comfortability ain't getting us nowhere.
Gotta come out that comfort zone to grow.
Besides in the same effing cycles. And it's like it's time to break cycles. And that's all I really want to talk about, when it comes to men. It's like, let's be different. Like let's charge ourselves up to be different. Let's break the cycle.
Yeah. Even these conversations we having now, like being who we are, it's like at the end of the day, it's like we gotta be able to come to the table as men for the community as a whole, for the narrative as a whole, back to the narrative. I know I keep reiterating it, but it's really just important to like sit down and have these talks and have it on these platforms, really where it's not so much in private no more, but we bringing it to the forefront because people need to see it. They need to know it. They need to understand that we coming together in a way that never really happened before. We really want to be the pioneers for that. I know for sure I want to be a part of that. But it's like, you know, so I'm just really happy to be here for real, because at the end of the day, it's like my point of view is important, your point of view is important, the viewer's point of view is important, most definitely. So I think, you know, to be a catalyst for this opportunity, I think it's a great thing for the show and the Gentleman's Podcast, for real.
Man, to be honest with you though, like I ain't really see this with nobody else. Like trying to get it done.
Been a minute. We've been putting it together for a while.
It got a little skeptical though. I ain't gonna hold you. Like I don't know if it's going. I don't know what we gonna do. But yeah, I'm gonna jump in the comments real quick. Someone said, "Is this live on other platforms so I can share?" Oh, well, you know, shout out to Sunshine.
Shout out to that.
Shout out. Let me tell y'all, if y'all radio stations ain't got a Sunshine, y'all is losing. No shade to the other radio stations. Like I think y'all are very good. I am very affiliated with some of the other radio stations for interviews. Like don't stop interviewing me because I'm saying this, but you know, sometimes you just got to give people their flowers while they're here. You know, shout out to the daddy of hits.
92.3.
Okay, all right. So listen, y'all, for those who don't know, y'all are tuned in to Hits 92.3. This is a Gentleman's Podcast. I am Just Semaj.
Oh, you already know I'm EmanuelTheBrand.
And let me tell you, it gets no better than here. But listen, we about to jump into a few songs. That's the music in me, you know. He also does music as well. So it's like, man, we about to get a lot of balance going on here. Let us get our flow. This our first show. Oh, that shit right.
Big time, man.
Let us get our flow. This is our first show. But now, thank y'all for tuning in. We ain't going nowhere. We just about to play some music, let y'all vibe a little bit, and then we're going to come back. So make sure y'all stay locked in to Hits 92.3 ATL, the real definition of internet radio. I finally got it right after all these years.
Boy, just be yourself. If people don't like it, if you're being yourself, fuck them. Boy, just be yourself. If people don't like it, if you're being yourself, fuck them.
Tell them again, fuck them. Yeah. I'm trying to tell you. I'm me, ho. That's all I can be, ho. Everyone else is taken. Yeah. Ever been happy to help a motherfucker, then when you need help, motherfucker said, ever felt like you be there for motherfuckers that never be there when we dance? So hard to know who really care for and love you, cause all the above is a mouthful of. That's why I stay out the way hollering. Then give me some pussy and sleep in it. Ho. Fuck em. I'm me, ho. That's all I can be, ho. Everyone else is taken.
Ho, get the fuck out my face with that gibberish. All that sex chasing prohibited. Most of them little bitty rotisseries giving that kitty the hell for the city. So slimming for sure, keep it pimping. You come with them gimmicks, them hoes get the shimmy like. I'm about to blow like a semi, so mixing the smoke with the Henny like.
Fuck 'em. I'm me, ho. That's all I can be, ho. Everyone else is taken. You ever stuck out your neck for motherfuckers that stabbed you in the back for a check? So you ever pulled up to check a motherfucker that never paid back all their debt? So you ever regretted sexing a motherfucker that don't be ready to stretch you? To answer your questions, yes, then I give me some pussy and sleep in it. Ho. I'm me, ho. That's all I can be, ho. Everyone else is taken.
Some spaces you walk into, and some you remember. Soft light, intentional design, a space that doesn't just hold your content, it elevates it. This is more than a place to create. It's an experience. For creators who want their work to feel different, more refined, more intentional, more you. Book your space now on Peerspace. Studio Luminaire. Link in bio.
Atlanta, get ready. The inaugural Prism Awards 2026 is here. Sunday, August 2nd, 2026. One night, one stage, one unforgettable experience. Featuring live performances from Devin Culture, Mariah Dawn, Alex Slay, and Just Semaj. Powered by Snub Magazine. This is more than an award show. This is legacy emotion.
You get on my damn nerves. My patience running thin. This ain't even anger. Bitch, you make me anxious. This is barely about us. You got problems in your mind, and you keep making big threats, and we don't see eye to eye. You spend half your life with dilated pupils. I don't think you're nice, and you treat me kinda cruel. All your moves is crazy, you compromise my safety. All your friends are shady, they tried to warn me vaguely. You patronize me daily, you never call me baby or treat me like a lady. And mainly, quite frankly, you get on my damn nerves. My patience wearing thin, and this ain't even anger. Bitch, you make me anxious. This is barely about us. You got problems in your mind, and you keep making big threats, and we don't see eye to eye. At your big ripe age, you should have a grip on that reckless rage. And I should take a hint, cause my resting state shouldn't be delusional. I should contemplate how we got to this conclusion. Well, we used to have something so simple, so sweet. You had me blush and sweat me off of my feet. We used to hide the shit all down to a science. Now are we sharing this? Imagine if we stood our ground. I wish that we could work this out. Let's get it. You get on my damn nerves. My patience wearing thin, and this ain't even anger. Bitch, you make me anxious. This is bad about us. You got problems in your mind, and you keep making big threats, and we don't see eye to eye. Yeah, God, problems, and you get on my damn nerves.
Every day is a new choice. We make our beds and we lie in them. Who do you want to lay down with? Choose wisely.
Met you on Friday, picked you up on Saturday. Sunday night you calling me over and over and over again, telling me that you're ready to rock me steady, rock steady. I got you so addicted, I should've never let you taste my love, my love. Damn right I wanna see you again, but I'm not ready for no love affair. Still you ask me what is happening, when I told you that my heart wasn't there. I handle business on the weekday, but you can have me on the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you wanna be my weekend lover, it's gonna be hard to leave. Take it from me, from me, from me. Take it from me, from me, from me. If you wanna be heart wasn't there. I handle business on the weekday, but you can have me on the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you wanna be my weekend lover, it's gonna be hard to wait. Take it from me, baby. Take it from me, baby. If you wanna be my weekend lover, it's gonna be hard to leave. Don't wanna leave me alone. From me. Take it from me. Oh.
Wagwan, good people. I don't know why I felt like I had to say that. Wagwan.
Shout out to the Caribbeans.
Yeah, shout out to the Jamaican. My homegirl Jamaican, and she's so down to earth and so cool. Shout out to Kenise. That's my girl.
Shout out Kenise, man.
Yeah, she a real OG.
For sure.
That's my dog.
Wow.
But welcome back to a Gentleman's Podcast on Hits 92.3 Atlanta. I am your boy, Just Semaj, the gentleman of R&B and soul. And I got my co-host in the studio with me.
You know, it's EmanuelTheBrand. We in tune. 92.3. You know the vibes we here, man. We relaxing, kicking back, having a coffee. You know, it's good money. We here.
Well, you know, I never have a coffee when I be on the show, but we just gonna go with a, what do you say, a coffee? How you pronounce it, brother?
A little coffee.
A little coffee.
Yeah. You know, you get every all the time.
Hey man, ain't nothing wrong with it. Shout out where you from, man. I think we need to show love. Like we
Albany, New York, upstate, you know. The little cousin of New York. They like to talk that big talk, but they know what it is. I'm gonna hold it down always. Shout out to the whole New York, and especially the Capital District, 518 Albany, New York, all the way to Atlanta. We here. You know the vibes.
Man, did you think you was gonna be in Atlanta?
5 years later, nah, I ain't just know it. I was city hopping, stay hopping, trying to make this dream come alive. And you know, that's why I ended up, and I can't say that I'm disappointed. You know, the culture here, the poster, everything that's going on, you know, that's what brings us all here, you know. So anybody that feel like they couldn't get it where they was at, I feel like you could come here and make a home. But, you know, I did make a mistake early on when I first came. It was like I had that New York mentality where it was like work. And I was just pushing the pressure, not realizing it was already a tone and there was already activity happening outside of me. So I had more of like a selfish mindset. So when I started to just like kind of dip more into like the post that was already going on, instead of the post I was trying to push, I was able to realize it's like, nah, get in tune with what's happening here and then bring what you got as you go. And then people will appreciate it more when you give instead of coming off like a taker. You know, I feel like a lot of implants get a lot of bad rap, you know, for being takers because they don't want to, you know, give back. It's just like they want to consume what's already here and just reap the rewards of what they ain't really put in with the foundation that was already laid. So I feel like this is kind of like similar to my music, and like what I do is like the building blocks of society: blue collar, white collar, gold collar. You know, it's like giving credit back to the men and to the people of society that really put together the building blocks. You know what I mean? And what we doing here, you know, in the culture, and even a more diverse perspective too, because you know I come from that single mother household like we talked about. I got 13 sisters, you know what I'm saying? Stepsisters and all that too. But, you know, we don't really look at it like that. Yeah, 13 sisters, man. So I'm heavily clothed in that regard. But, you know, for sure, man, Atlanta the vibe. And I'm happy to be here, you know, always from Albany, New York, for sure. But, you know, Atlanta, you know, this what brought us here. So, you know, I ain't mad at it at all.
Man, you know, like it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm from Detroit, by the way. I thought I just threw it out there. Nobody asked me, but you know, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
My
you
Detroit
know,
players.
okay,
Yeah.
what up, though? You know, all my Detroiters that's watching. No, but I asked that specifically because I think sometimes we as creatives, like, we don't really take time to really reflect.
Yeah.
And realize, like, damn, like where we come from.
Yeah.
You from up north, like I am.
I was there.
And it's like we didn't see stuff that a lot of people might not never be able to understand and might not be able to ever live through. So it's like sometimes you got to just take that time and just really like, damn, like, bro, I came from Detroit all the way here, or I came from New York all the way here. Right. And not only did I come here, I've been here. You've been here 5 years. Yeah. I've been here since 2018. So it's like, you know, like the trajectory of keeping it going. Because, you know, a lot of people don't come back from Atlanta, or they don't go back to Atlanta. They'll leave. They'll come for a couple years and then, you know, oh, it ain't working, so let me go back. A lot of people can't make it. Like Atlanta has a different type of hustle.
Yeah, most definitely.
And now that I figured out how to ride that wave, like you can't tell me a goddamn thing. I'm always gonna outwork everybody because I just feel like that's just what I'm supposed to be doing.
Most definitely.
But I also want to, use that as a gateway to, before we jump into our next segment. So go ahead and highlight something you're doing, brother.
Oh, most def. I got working on the God Kids Universe animated series right now. That's like my biggest project, my focal point outside of my own personal stuff. It's on Emmanuel the Brand Network at emmanuelthebrand.com. It's really centered around like children and youth, educational information, music, STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, kind of trying to propel children and toddlers to get more into that early on so they could benefit from some of the economic ecosystem opportunities here and abroad, while they can. But I'm still doing some of the building blocks, so I ain't gonna like do too much on it. But yeah, you could definitely find more information on that at Emmanuel the Brand on the gram or social media and emmanuelthebrand.com for sure.
So before we drop the clip, I believe in closed mouths don't get fed. What is something that you can use that will help catapult you to the next part of your project? Because there might be somebody watching that may be able to be like, you know what, brother, I believe in what you're doing, especially after we drop the clip.
You're right. Anybody that got a child, anybody that was a child, anybody that believe in children is the future, I think they'll benefit from this program. I got nieces, I got nephews, I got a child on the way, during October. So
shout out to you and the wife.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. And really what sparked it was losing my son last year in March. So after losing my seed to, stillbirth, he was about 6 months. I watched him take his last breath, man, and that, that changed me. It really put stuff in perspective, put things in order in its proper form. And I always prided myself like on being a man and, being sure of myself and being confident. Because, coming from poverty, man, coming from where I come from, it's like, imagination was all you really had until you was able to put a couple dollars in your pocket.
Definitely.
So, watching those dudes in my neighborhood get it how they live inspired me to want to have something for myself, despite what they might have had going on, and I never really appreciated the bus driver or the trash man and no dudes like that. You know what I mean? So, shout out to them. And that's like kind of what's influencing, this animated programming, as well as, what I'm doing with my music moving forward is really championing the man that's balancing it all. The one that got a job, the man that's working in entertainment, the man that got a radio show, the man that's on a podcast, the man that's in the studio until wee hours of the morning and getting it all done and got a show and got to wake up at 6 to get back to the clock, and people don't get to see that stuff all of the time because, we also got to be a brand and we got to be inspirational. And sometimes people don't see the big stuff that happens to make the things that they see as small. You know what I mean? They don't see all the work that goes into those 3 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour programs and stuff. So, it's hours, weeks, and months that goes into those things sometimes, from wardrobe to scripts to, production. It's teams of people that's behind this stuff, that they don't see on camera. So shout out to them, the assistant directors, the programmers, and the music supervisors, and all the people, the DJs, that go into work behind the scenes that get very little credit for making us look good. So, I think it's special. I think what we're doing is special. The God Kids animated universe, at God Kids Universe on Instagram. You can also go to my foundation page, The Inner Circle, on emmanuelthebrand.com to get more information on that and how I'm trying to create 1,000 jobs in diverse communities across the nation, for sure. The Modi Foundation.
And 1,000 jobs you're going to create.
Is that God willing, man? God willing, for sure.
Sunshine, you go ahead and drop that dope clip for them so they can
see. Hey, count with me.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, stomp the floor.
I was there.
And I think we've left off something. It's a soundtrack to it too, y'all.
Most definitely. We're gonna have a pilot coming soon. I gotta get that to y'all. That's my fault. I gotta get y'all the pilot, but it's coming. It's dope too. It's dope.
Man, they can wait. Great things great things take time, okay? And it's okay if they wait just a little bit longer. But no, let them know where they can follow your Instagram at again.
Oh, it's at Emmanuel the Brand for my personal page and endeavors. And if you want to tap into the God Kids Universe, it's at God Kids Universe. I got the album out, Go Kids Volume 1. for all your learning endeavors with your children. It's less than 10 minutes, so you can listen to it on the wake up. You can listen to it before you go to sleep. You can have your kids play it on repeat, give them something to do, and they get to learn their ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and get to get some insight on the STEM programs and stuff going on. So, I'm really proud of that. I really hope y'all get in tune with it. Download that. Every download comes with a golden ticket. With the golden ticket, you get a certificate of authentication showing that you purchased the album. So that you'll get that digitally. And yeah, we're real proud of this project. I want you to have something tangible to hold and to have on your, your person for purchasing the project, and as well as your kids to have something special, like it's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, man. We giving
Definitely
it out.
most needed.
So for sure.
I also want to say I got a lot of teacher friends. So hey, get these in y'all curriculums for y'all schools because it's needed. Like a lot of our, especially in our poverty driven, as they call them, schools.
Definitely.
Because it's good to have something for the community by a Black man. A lot of times they come in and they push what they want to push in their agendas, in our communities. And I really think it's time for us to start combating that. So hats off to you, dog. Like,
for sure,
like I told you in private, like that's definitely a lot of good work.
I appreciate that.
I love soundtracks. Like I'm a sucker. Anybody who knows me know I am a sucker for soundtracks. Like we be talking about that all the time at work. Like I'm a sucker for soundtracks. Like I love scores.
Underrated.
Like I feel like some of the best music come from those, and people really don't check for it because it's like, oh, it's part of a movie, or it's part of a book. But it was like, bro, it was one specific song, and I was like, I had to call you, like, bro, like that was.
Yeah, right. The count to 10 bounce.
Yeah, I was like the count to 10. Like, I was like, hey, that's kind of dope. Like. Yeah. And it's because it's catchy, and kids nowadays, people don't realize like you're competing with the Miss Rachel, a tab time. So like to have that music on that type of level, like you're putting yourself, not saying that you're in competition with anyone, but you're showing like I'm equally as great as those people.
Yeah.
So to have that score like that, like that's fire because most people don't think about that. And kids love music. Like when I was a teacher and when I taught, autistic kids, that was one of my biggest ways to communicate with my kids was through music.
Thank you for your service, brother.
Yeah, so it's like, man, I felt like I was in the army. Them kids. I ain't gonna talk about the kids because HIPAA, but privately, I'm gonna lay these kids out. Okay. Shout out to y'all. I had a kid.
We all got them and around them. I get it.
Yeah, I had a kid, man, that they used to always tell me like, oh, he's a fighter. And I was like, I'm the coolest teacher in here. He ain't gonna bite me. He know not to play with me. Like he ain't gonna do it. Wow. Man, he got to getting ready to get on another kid. I was like, hey, we're not gonna do this. As a teacher, they teach you how to redirect the children. Never tell them like, oh, you're a bad student, or even though they could be bad as hell, you're never supposed to use like bad terminology with the kids. Like it's your job as a teacher to redirect them. So I'm like, oh, okay. I said, well, come on, we're gonna put you over here. But I just felt my arm like stinging. And we were outside, so I'm like, maybe I got stung by a bee or something. I'm like, no, because I'm allergic to bees, so it'd be a lot worse. So I was like, dang, that looked down like he had, when I say the jaws of life on my arm.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, after this,
Oh, he got you.
Yeah, I said, you know what? Give me the kid that does not have behavioral issues, please. The ones who got a lot of mouth, because I can square with one of them.
Right.
But the children who don't, can't. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into another segment we got called a gentleman's advice segment. I had posted on our Instagram page, for people to submit submit stuff so we can kind of like talk on it. And somebody did. They preferred not to be, known, the name known. So I'm just gonna read it from a general standpoint. So if you hear me saying them or they or, probably he or she, but I just won't mention the name. So they started out with saying, hello, Just Semaj EmanuelTheBrand. My name is ... I almost said it. And I've been going through a difficult season in my life. I wanted to reach out to a gentleman's podcast because I've been searching for guidance, encouragement, in a safe place where men can be honest about what they're dealing with emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Over the past few years, I've experienced a lot of setbacks that have affected my confidence and motivation. Between personal loss, relationship struggles, financial pressure, and trying to stay strong for everyone around me, I've started to feel overwhelmed and disconnected from myself. As a man, sometimes I feel like we're expected to suffer in silence and never admit when we need help. What drew me into hearing about this podcast when I reached out to Just Semaj is the opportunity of creating real conversations for men who may not always have someone to talk to. I'm looking for a gentleman's advice. It feels bigger than just advice. It's like brotherhood, healing, accountability, and growth. Hearing often men speak honestly about life changing scenarios and opportunities for us to have conversations like this gives me hope that we can rebuild ourselves and keep pushing forward. My question for the show is, how do you rebuild your confidence and sense of purpose after life has humbled you repeatedly? And how do you keep going when you feel mentally exhausted? And thank you both for creating a new platform where men can be seen, heard, and understood.
Wow, that was long-winded, but that's what's needed. That's deep.
Definitely long-winded. I'm gonna run the question part back because I think I kind of got lost in the question. No shade.
That was deep.
No
That was
shade.
deep.
We
I
ain't,
like the question. I like
yeah.
I like where it's coming from.
Hey,
It's
look,
pure. It's genuine.
don't
Yeah.
get us wrong. We love the introduction. Like it really made it. But next time, Fred, can you just get to the point? But that's okay. We're gonna read your question anyway. So your question basically said, how do you rebuild your confidence and sense of purpose after life has humbled you repeatedly, and how do you keep going when you feel mentally exhausted?
You want to start that on Samaj, or how you want?
I mean, I guess I could kick it off.
Yeah.
I've learned through sunshine. Ain't nothing humbling me and ain't nothing putting me in a humble situation unless it's God. Um, I think sometimes we take the word humble and we use it wrong. And I know I can speak from this because I used to do it. I used to be like, I'm humble, I'm chill, I'm just, laid back. But when you really look up the definition of humble, that means lesser than. I ain't lesser than none of you niggas. And I'm just gonna keep it a buck with y'all. And I don't expect none of y'all to be lesser than me. That's just who I am as a person. But what I would say is I understand the question. And to answer the question, what I feel personally is sometimes you just got to take it day by day, dog. Like it's really not that deep. I think sometimes we overcomplicate life as people in general. Um, Certain scenarios is just your karma. And I don't think we realize that. We think, oh, it's the devil, or God is allowing this to happen, or whoa, it's me. Certain stuff we go through is just your karma. So I feel like me personally, I don't know what it feels like to lose your confidence. I just know what it feels like to gain your confidence. And some of the steps that I took to gain my confidence was, knowing exactly who I am, who the F I think I am. That's all I'm gonna say. Can't nobody change that. Can't nobody tell me different. I don't care if you don't agree or not. I have this certain delusion in my mind that I am what I say I am. I am what I believe I am. I know what I know I am. So I think sometimes you just have to get into a point to where you just start reaffirming yourself. Because if you really wait on other people to reaffirm you, brother, sometimes it might not happen. You might not have real people around you to be like, you know what? I see where you're going. You're getting there, but keep your head up. You might not always get that. So sometimes you may have to pat yourself on the back along the way, because no one was doing that for me when I first started out, especially trying to figure out where I'm going, how I'm going to get there, what time I'm going to get there, how, what roads I'm going to take. Like no one was there for me in that aspect. I felt like personally, one, because they didn't know how to. And then two, I wasn't in a space to allow them to be. So sometimes, in that waiting season or that season that you feel like, you're being humble, you're not being humble, you're being preserved. You're not being humble. You're being, pushed to the side just a little bit because you still got some more work you have to do. So it's all, try not to look at it as in you're being humble, because humble to me sound like a punishment. When you say like, like I've been, humbled repeatedly. Also, brother, on the flip side, you also got to look at it as, well, what are you doing to where you got to keep being humble?
Yeah, that's a big one.
I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna throw the ball in your court real quick. I noticed when I used to go to therapy, and my therapist used to always tell me this saying: your life is going the way it is going for two reasons. One reason is for something you are doing, and the other reason is for something you're not. So you have to figure out what's contributing to that humbling factor. So if you feel like, hey, I ain't getting it, then maybe you might not have your ears open, and maybe you got too much loud noise around you. Sometimes it's time to just, not be humble, but, sit back and really digress where you are, why you're there, and be honest with yourself. Right. I'm going to go ahead and throw the ball in your court now.
Yeah, that's heavy. Yeah, you did that. You did that. You did that one, brother. Nah, I'm gonna just really like go over what you said. Like, I say like you touching on therapy is like super important. Like I think that's an underserved system in our community, for sure. Starting with that. I think therapy is super important. And therapy doesn't always mean medication. It doesn't always mean, tapping in with every element of the health thing that you don't want to dive into. Sometimes therapy is just talking. Sometimes therapy is just speaking to somebody that's not somebody you familiar with so they could give you an honest point of view and you can receive it as a real point of view because this person has no reason to think or feel this about me because they don't even know me, right?
Exactly.
They don't even know me. So that's really just like a fresh perspective into yourself. Because really, what a therapist does, to my understanding, is just help you express and have a reflection internally of what you already know that you need to bring to the forefront for yourself. So accountability, I think, is a better word than even
Definitely.
humble. It's like just being accountable and just sitting in that moment and saying, am I really here to be humble or am I here to be accountable? Right? Because
Mm-hmm.
being humble is just really to serve another person. It's like there's
Real
nothing
good.
wrong with that.
That's good.
Like we serving each other right now, doing this collaboration and bringing this platform to life.
Yeah.
So we humble right now. We got egos, we got alter egos. We got personalities beyond this moment. We got crafts that we do outside of this platform, right? We individuals at the end of the day coming together for a greater cause. So I think this is humbling within itself, but we humble by the experience. We not humbling ourselves to one another. We are who we are,
Exactly.
right? I'm accountable. He's accountable. We accountable. So I think just being accountable for your circumstance and looking at it like, how did I get here? Why am I here? And what can I do to not be in this situation moving forward, right? And that starts with self. So even this, as much as this, my little injury, right? You see me in a sling. So this right here, I've had to lean on my wife a lot to help me through day to day, to get to work, to put my clothes on, to prepare my meals, you know what I mean? In a way that was already happening, but I've had to lean a lot more because I'm just temporarily handicapped. I'm disabled. There's not much I could do. You know what I mean? So it actually even helped me understand my mom more. She's been on disability for 30 years for me to remember. She hurt herself at work.
Yeah.
That was the reason that triggered her addiction. Going back to her addiction, it really flared it up to the point where she wasn't able to gather herself in the fashion of keeping it together for us in the way that we felt like was the way it was supposed to happen. But being pregnant now with my own child with my wife, being kind of incapacitated with my injury and leaning on my wife, I see the power of a woman. I know the benefits of a woman. I always have, but it just reminds you when that woman in the room, she's gonna be your anchor, right? When stuff is sinking, when you can't keep afloat. And those are the people that lift you up. And it comes in all forms, right? Mine's is my wife. It might come in a sister. It might come in a mother. It might come in a stepmom. It might come in an auntie. It might come in a work colleague, But the important thing is to remember, lean into those blessings. Lean into those blessings. I really want you to really touch that. Like, if you push the blessings away, me being from up north, being from New York, we have a real like I don't need help mentality. I'm gonna do everything myself, and that gets you through a lot because the temperature in New York requires that from you to get ahead. And it's the kind of environment where you gotta kind of fight tooth and nail. You feel like to get a place in the world. Everywhere is not like here, right? I come from conservative white America. Shout out to it. It taught me a lot. I learned a lot. I gained a lot from it. I know how to move in multiple rooms. But at the end of the day, the point is lean in to what you feel like you being humbled by and lean into the resources that's available, because those things that are coming to your aid to cover you is your protection. Those things coming to help you is the service. You don't know what their mission and assignment is. So lean into that. And that's really all I could say. I don't want to get too preachy and stuff, but that's what I've learned to do. I've learned to lean into my blessings instead of pushing them away, thinking that it's something that's not for me. No, if it's there, it's for me. It's whether I want to receive it or not. So that's the best advice I can give for that. You know.
Man, that was real good. I took so much from that, for real, for real.
Likewise,
I'm so
likewise, man, for
grateful for
real.
like for real. Like this our first episode, but I've taken so much from just hearing, from your side, your perspective.
Likewise, man.
Yeah, like I really appreciate that and I respect that, because I think sometimes like you think because we're from two different worlds, a lot of people can't understand how the two can coexist.
But like your energy, even that frequency provided that for me.
Yeah.
To be able to do what that was. You know what I mean? Like we sharing that space.
Shit, we
You
on
know
to
what I
something,
mean?
brother.
Most definitely.
We on
Most
to something.
definitely.
Hey, but listen, I want to thank y'all for tuning in with us. And one of our comments was really quick here. From Kanishi said, same, can't lose it when you've built shit up brick by brick. And I think really that's all that's important to it, is one step at a time, as I was saying, in the beginning of, originally what we were talking about. Someone else said New York is a jungle, but that's also part of the problem. A lot of times we need the resources. You need the helping hand to help you get to another level. And I totally agree. And I don't even think that's a New York thing. I think that's just a Black people thing in general. Like, sometimes we come with that strong mentality of we don't need it, or we got to figure it out, or we can do, and we don't need nobody, because we've been conditioned to be, segregated amongst our own people. So shout out to us, shout out to the community. Thank y'all for tuning in. Again, y'all are tuned in to a Gentleman's Podcast on Hits 92.3 Atlanta. We will be here every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please make sure y'all come back, check us out. Y'all can follow us on all social media platforms. I think I said that so wrong. Y'all can follow us. I've been watching this video and she said social media. So y'all can follow us on social media.
Tomato.
At A Gentleman's Podcast. We can be found on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, as well as our YouTube channel. And make sure y'all are following all the Hits radio station, other shows that's on here. As I say before, and I say all the time, Hits got a whole lot of hits going on. We got a lot of different, shows. So there's always going to be a show that you're going to enjoy when it comes to that. So let them know where they can follow you at, brother, outside of our, conjoint page. Our joint page. All right,
we here. I've been a gentleman, such a gentleman.
Yeah. So let them know where they can find you at.
EmanuelTheBrand.com. That's the website. All the pages there tell you everything I got shaking. Gentleman's Podcast. You can find me and Semaj. You already know.
Definitely.
92.3 Atlanta. You know the vibes. Make sure you follow them. Make sure you tune in to keep good shows like this on there. We need y'all help. Hello, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But shout out to Sunshine, shout out to the whole team, shout out to everybody involved. And
yes,
we just trying to get it done. God Kid Universe, Semaj, the gentleman. I appreciate us being here. I'm happy to be here. Shout out Atlanta, man.
Shout out to y'all. Tune in next week, y'all. We out of here. Goodbye.
Peace.
Tiny Desk. I am your boy, Just Semaj, the gentleman of R&B and soul. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to audition. I didn't come by myself. I brought my girl Epiphany with me. And I also brought Melodic Touch behind me. Oh, yeah. Turn y'all computer screens up and just vibe with us one time. I promise you ain't never seen nothing like us before. Let's go. I've been through the fire. I've been through the rain. Had my share of heartbreak. There's a different type of pain. Oh, glad I did it on my own. There is no stopping me now. Stronger than I've been before. I'm coming out this time.